trickle in, we got a little bit of trivia to start. You're going to type in the chat here. Which athlete was cut from, and if you're a coach, I already know you know this answer. If you're like my age or older, who was cut from their high school basketball team before becoming one of the greatest players to ever play sports? Put it in the chat if you know the answer. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. B, B, B. All right. That was a layup. Yep. Michael Jordan. You guys got it. All right. Next one. This is a little tougher. How many times did Babe Ruth strike out in his playing career? How many times did Babe Ruth strike out? We got B, C. Lots of C's. Man, y'all are good. All right. It's C. You're right. Over 1,300. All right. Last question. In the NBA Finals, what is the average shooting percentage for even the best shooters under pressure? A, B, C, or D? C, 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 C. It's always C. How'd y'all know? All right, you guys got them. I guess they weren't as tough as I thought they were. All right, I'm letting in these last couple of people, and then we're going to get rolling. So glad you guys decided to jump on this tonight. Let me stop sharing real quick um, while we get this rolling. So, tonight, you are here because you want to learn how to overcome mistakes fast or bad games fast. Bad games. We're going to put bad around quotes. But here is the real $1 million question. I'm going to pull my screen up now because we're going to get rolling. The real $1 million question is this. If I know that failing makes me better, why does it still feel so devastating in the moment when I make a mistake or when I fail to perform to the level I'm capable of? Like just real quick, like think to yourself, like do you know that failing makes you better? Like intellectually, like in your mind, like you've heard it before, right? And maybe you even in your head you believe it. So then why does it still feel so tough? And why do you still respond the way that you do emotionally and sometimes outwardly in the moments when you make a mistake or fail to perform at the level you're capable of? Why? It's the $1 million question, and I'm going to answer that right now. I told you guys, if you were on our emails, I was like, I want to give you a ton of good information, like in the first 10 minutes. That way, if you fall asleep or you get bored or you have to leave for practice or whatever, like at least you got something valuable. And so I'm going to give you one of the two or three most important things. I'm going to give it to you right now. It's this right here. It's because at some point, your coach or a coach yelled at you when you made a mistake. And you might not even remember the first time this happened, but it happened. Or that top right-hand picture, the first time you heard fans boo or gasp or ugh when you made a mistake. That is why it's still so devastating. Or the bottom left, the first time you felt like a teammate was disappointed in you. Can you relate to that, by the way? Sometimes when you make a mistake, just type in the chat yes, right? If sometimes when you mess up or make a mistake, you get this sense, this feeling like your teammates are incredibly disappointed in you. Can I just get a yes if I'm talking to the right group of people? Yeah, so many of us, right? But this is the $1 million question. This is the answer to the $1 million question. The reason why you respond the way you do to mistakes or to falling short or to not performing well, it has to do something with that time where the teammate yelled or put their head down or shook their head in disgust or gasped when you made a mistake. Or the bottom right-hand picture, maybe it was a parent, right? You thought that your parents were disappointed in you or upset with you, or maybe they talked to you after the game and it just something felt like, man, they're really not happy with me. And you connected. Here's the most important thing. You connected that moment in your mind to the mistake that you made. You connected it to the mistake that you made. And it is called, I'm not going to get too sciencey on you tonight. I'm going to make this practical. It's called false neuroassociations. That's the scientific term. And it's simply this, guys. And I need to get a confirmation that you understand this in the chat in a second, but it's when your brain connects two things that don't actually belong together. And then your brain believes it like it's true. And then your brain makes a shortcut, but it's actually the wrong road, right? Your brain does this. It's called distorting, right? It's called distorting the truth. There's the word right there, distort. Your brain does this to make things simpler, but it's not accurate. Okay, let me give you another example. Here's a sports example. I've already shared this with you, but this is on paper now. You miss a shot, you make a bad pass, you have a bad play, you had a bad game, and then a coach yelled, or a parent looked mad, or a teammate sighed, and your brain quietly decided this. When I make a mistake, people are mad at me. Mistakes mean I'm not good. Mistakes are bad. Guys, like in a snap of a finger, when those things happened, your brain decided that and it linked the two together. Okay, here's another example. Video gamers. Well, actually, no, let me get you the truth first. The mistake didn't cause those feelings. The mistake didn't mean you were a bad player in that moment. The mistake didn't actually ruin anything. Your brain just linked them together because it happened at the same time. That's what a false neuroassociation is. And here's the video game example. Okay, video game analogy. Imagine you're playing a video game. Do I have any people on this right now that play video games? Type yes in the chat. No shame. Video games are awesome. Okay, cool. So you're playing the video game and you lose one round. And at the same exact time that you lost that round, the game glitches and the screen turns red. That may have only happened once, but one time is enough for your brain to think, every time I lose a round, the game breaks. That's really what a false neuroassociation is in the video game world. It's not true, but the glitch happened at the same time. Actually, guys, just think about this for a second. Not only is it not true, but who agrees that it's almost ridiculous to think that those two things are actually linked? Like, you're smarter than that, right? Like, of course, you losing the game didn't cause it to glitch. You're so much smarter than that. But isn't it interesting that we can't see that same thing in sports all the time? Tonight, we're going to break that. Here's one final example for you guys. Snapchatters. You guys know about filters. Here's the wrong filter example. False neuroassociations. They're like taking a great photo and putting a bad filter on it. The photo wasn't bad. The filter made it look bad. So mistakes in the sports world are the photo, past reactions, not just your coaches, your parents, or your teammates, but maybe even your own reactions that have become a habit, right? Isn't it true that maybe some of the way that you react now to mistakes or when coach pulls you out of the game or when you underperform, like your reactions have actually become a habit? And we're going to break that habit tonight. Promise you. That's why you're here. I promise you, you're going to get your money's worth. It was a free training, but you're going to get your money's worth. We're going to break those habits tonight so that you can play free again. Can I get an amen? Okay. The good news is you can retrain your brain, you can teach your brain and your heart, which, guys, your heart is actually where true beliefs live. Again, in the beginning, we talked about in your mind, you already know that mistakes aren't bad. You've heard pro athletes talk about how failure actually is the pathway to success. Mistakes are the key to getting better and better. Like, you've heard pro athletes talk about this for a long time. That's in your brain, that's in your head. We need to get this into your heart where your true beliefs live. So we can teach your brain and your heart that mistakes equal learning, mistakes equal growth, mistakes equal next play. That's what this system is really all about. So before we really get going, up until today, these reactions over here, okay, I want you to remember these reactions. They've taught you to play passive, get angry, or shut down after mistakes. Okay, these reactions have taught you to let one quote unquote bad play turn into a bad game. let one bad game, series, or if you've been playing sports long enough, you know that you might even have a bad season, but it's not the end of the world. It shouldn't be, at least, right? These reactions have caused you to let a bad game or season determine your identity. So from today on, those same reactions, here's what we're committing to. Here's what I need you all in on tonight. We're committing to those same reactions becoming feedback, not fear, fuel to learn and grow, and a reason to play all out and keep taking risks instead of holding back, right? The next time one of these things occurs, guys, that is your signal. It's time to go, right? I'm not holding back. I'm not going to play passively. I'm not going to be scared to take the shot just because my teammate had a bad day today. She was having a bad hair day and she decided to take it out on me. I'm not going to let my teammates stop me from going all out on the next play and doing my best. I'm not going to let the fans determine how I respond to a mistake. Today, I determine the way I bounce back. Mistakes are fuel, mistakes are feedback, and they're a reason to play all out and to keep taking risks. Okay, real quick. It's the who am I slide because there are so many of you guys. This is really cool that I don't know who you are. So, real quick, who am I? I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm a mindset coach. I've done over 3,000 mindset coaching sessions between workshops with teams, college teams, D1 teams, all the way down to middle school basketball teams. Like, I've done it all, mindset coaching. I've written 8 books. I created a really cool certification last year with my partner Todd Durkin called the Get Your Mind Right GYMR Mindset Coaching Certification, where it's really awesome. We have like 120 coaches and it's parents, coaches, trainers. We get to teach them everything that we know about mindset coaching so that they can understand the way their players think and ultimately change their performance that way. And then I founded a series of gyms called Players Fitness and Performance, where we just have an incredible team of coaches helping athletes in the mental game as well as with physical performance. And so some of you guys heard about this tonight because of PFP. And you can put in the chat if you come to PFP, type a little PFP in there. But why did I put my kids in here? Well, number one, they're cute. But number two, kids, like we forget sometimes. Maybe you're 10 years old on this call, 15, 20. We forget how good we were at bouncing back from mistakes when we were kids, when we were their age. My daughter's 4. My son is 1 right here, Leo, and then Jack is 7. And I'm telling y'all, they are like Olympics when it comes to bouncing back, Olympians when it comes to bouncing back from mistakes. My 1-year-old son, he plays with this little girl named Claire. Their family comes over to our house, and like he could be like running past her and trip and fall flat on his face and just completely embarrass himself and cry for 30 seconds, and then boom, right back up, smiling, laughing, having fun. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like when I was in middle school, like if I ran by a girl that I liked and I fell and I tripped and I hurt myself, I was embarrassed for like a month at minimum. My daughter, man, she could be playing and then her older brother could like rip her Barbie doll off, rip the head off her Barbie doll, and she could just have a major meltdown and then 30 seconds later be fine, bounce back, have fun again. So, like, why is that? Tonight, I want us to maybe relearn some of these things that we forgot how to do. And it's not just about not caring what people think, because that's like what everyone says. Like, I'm just going to stop caring. No, no, no. There's something deeper than that that I want to tap into tonight. And so I'm really, really, really excited that you guys are here. Like I really am. Like I really think tonight, you taking the time to do this, some of your friends might be, who knows what they're doing, but they're not on this call. You're on this call, and I'm really believing that tonight you're going to get a lot more out of this than just how to implement a couple of quick techniques to bounce back from mistakes, guys. I really do believe that. So lock in, take a deep breath real quick, drink a sip of water, take a deep breath. Can I ask you one more thing? Can we silence our phones? Do not disturb. Put the phone off to the side. Don't let the distractions happen, guys. We're going to go for about 45 minutes here, and we're just going to be locked in for the next about 30 minutes. Actually, we're already 15 minutes in, and we're going to get a lot out of this. So let's do it. What if confidence was not something that you lost? but rather something you could rebuild in 3 seconds. Would that be cool? Nod your head if that would be cool. Well, here's the thing. I lost my confidence. You ever said that phrase? I've been really like thinking about this phrase, and there's a lot of athletes that say this. Mentally, what this implies is that you need to find it, right? If you lose something, wouldn't you agree? Like your brain starts to think about like I gotta find it. It's like a needle in a haystack though. It's this thing that you can't touch, you can't see it. Confidence is not like, your phone, right? It's something you can't touch or see. And we say things, athletes, and I teach this. I go a lot deeper in this transformational vocabulary in mindset coaching, but we say these things and we don't even realize how powerful our words really are. I lost my confidence is actually something I'm going to encourage you to never, ever, ever say again. I lost my confidence. Or you had a bad play and then you say, I don't have confidence right now, coach. I am not confident right now, coach. These are like identity statements. And we got to be careful because what we say becomes how we feel. Do any of you guys in the middle of a game want to feel less confident? Do you want to feel less confident? I don't think so. And when you say, I am not confident, you are leading yourself to believe you're not confident. That's not a good thing. So we need to erase this from our vocabulary forever. And I'm going to replace it with something really simple. You ready? I didn't throw that last ball confidently. I will throw it with confidence next time. So translate this to your sport, right? We had softball player on here tonight. We've got soccer players, right? I didn't pass that last ball with confidence versus I lost my confidence. I'm not confident. I don't have confidence. No, no, no. I didn't shoot that last shot with confidence. Let's call it how it really is. Here's something else our brains do. You guys got to know this. This is really important. Our brains generalize things. It's just easier. Our brains are trying to conserve energy. And so, since it's generalizing, the natural thing it's going to say is, I'm just not confident. But no, 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 that's not helpful in athletics. It's definitely not helpful in clutch time moments, in pressure time situations in sports. So, take a second. And for your sport, I want you right now, pen and paper, make sure you have pen and paper if you don't already have that. I want you to write down what the most common thing is for you in your sport where you lose confidence, right? Formerly, you used to say, I lost confidence, right? That's the thing. If it's your quarterback, I want you to write down, I didn't throw that last pass with confidence. If that's for you, if that's the position you play and that's the sport you have. Take a second and just write it down. It sounds simple, but we need to engage with this stuff and we need to start putting it on paper so it becomes real. So whatever it is for you, maybe you're a dancer, maybe you're a gymnast. Owen, our cheerleading coach, is on here tonight. Like maybe it's back tucks, right? I didn't throw that last back tuck with confidence. No more saying I'm not confident. No more saying I don't have confidence. No more saying I lost my confidence. Cool? All right. And then replace it with I will throw it with confidence next time. Now, guys, this is a participation event. So nobody can hear you because you're muted. At least I believe everyone's muted. Yep, everyone's muted. So I want you guys to say out loud, I will throw it with confidence next time. Ready, go. I will throw it with confidence next time. Now, did you say it like I said it? Did you say it just like I said? I want you to say it just like I said, the same tone, the same energy. I will throw it with confidence next time. Ready, go. Okay. Good job for those of you who did that. Now, here is something that is going to be a little embarrassing. Okay. And when I first started teaching athletes this, honestly, I wasn't sure if any athlete was ever going to even do it. But I had a cross country runner that runs at the Division I collegiate level. He would get, man, he would get to mile 3 of a 10K. I think it was mile 2 or 3 of 10K. And he would always hit this wall and it would just become really, really, really painful for him. And we needed to find a way to get him to push into that and to actually go faster when he hit that wall, right? He needed a way to get himself hyped up. Well, how do you do it? You do it through physical training, of course, but there's this mental thing that can be tapped into when we say things with power, with confidence, with courage. Okay, so what he started saying was every step, every rep, I'm getting stronger and stronger. Every step, every rep, I'm getting stronger and stronger. And when he started to say that with more power and honestly just a higher volume, every step, every rep, I'm getting stronger and stronger. I don't want to scare you guys tonight, but I would take it up a lot higher, but I think you get the point. You could feel that too, right? When I was saying that, you felt something on the inside. The way that we say things, not just what we say, but the way that we say them, that determines how confident we feel. And so what I want you guys just to practice one time, because man, like I don't just want to give you a bunch of knowledge tonight. That's not going to really help. I want you to say, I will throw it with confidence next time. And I just want you to emphasize that one word, will. I will throw it with confidence next time. Or if you want to use your sport, whatever the play is that you're talking about in your sport, do that. Ready, set, go. I will throw it with confidence next time. Guys, this is not just some motivation, pump you up stuff. I need you all to practice this because you're going to see, man, this athlete, Henry, when he started doing this in his very next race, and think about it, cross country, like people are everywhere. So like there's nothing to be embarrassed about because there's such a big gap in between you. So he had that going for him. But guys, he ran this race and he came back to me. We jumped on a Zoom session about 2 or 3 days later, and he was grinning from ear to ear. Guys, he went from fifth place in that race with not very long to go, and he caught the first place runner with just like a mile or under to go. It was incredible. He just got this jolt of power and energy because he used his voice and his body to get himself confident. So that was an important little aside that I wanted to share with y'all because, man, that thing has helped. Using a powerful voice has helped so many athletes over the years. Here's the next thing that you can draw on your paper. This little graph that shows the inverse relationship between your mindset, your long-term mindset about sports, and your emotional reaction to a bad play or game. So on the left-hand side there, going up the line, is your emotional reactions to a bad game. The higher up you go, the higher emotional reactions you have to a bad play or a bad game. Notice down here on the bottom, we've got a finite mindset and what's called an infinite mindset. Now, I'm just going to make this really simple for you. A finite mindset is somebody who's only thinking about that game, right? Like that game is the most important game in the world. Now, I know that there's value to that, right? Like you should be present and each game counts. But when you start to believe that every mistake that you make is going to cost you your scholarship, or it's going to cost you your entire career, or it defines you as an athlete, when you start to think that way, you're having a finite mindset. And you can see when you have a finite mindset, your emotional reaction to a bad game is really, really high versus an athlete who has huge goals for themselves, right? They're in this thing for the long term. And like after they're done playing, they can't wait because someday they're going to coach and they're going to keep playing in leagues and they're just never going to stop, right? Sports are just this infinite thing for them. They're not playing just for the trophy that year. Like they just look at sports as this awesome gift that they get to participate in. And athletes like that have this infinite mindset, yes, they care about every play and every game matters. Yet at the same time, it's not the most important thing in the world. And there's more chances, and they believe that they're going to have more chances. You can see their emotional reaction to bad plays or bad games, it's very low. And I could give you story after story of athletes who I saw, they could just the way they talked. right? They talked about the showcase. Like, man, if I don't perform well at this showcase, if I don't, then I don't know if I'm ever going to make it. If I don't perform well tonight, it might be over for me. Athletes that talk like that, they have a finite mindset, and you can see their emotional reaction during bad plays or bad games, or when their teammates mess up even. It's really, really intense and really, really high, and it almost doesn't make sense, but it starts with the way that they see sports. And so I want you all to just park on that for a second and ask yourself, have I been playing sports with a finite mindset? Have I been playing sports with a finite mindset, thinking that I gotta perform great now or else? Or else, if I don't, then this. Guys, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm here tonight to convince you that sports, man, they're an infinite game. Sure, the shot clock expires, the game clock does end, your varsity season will end, your senior season will end, your collegiate career will end technically, but your love for the game, it doesn't have to ever end. And it's going to stay higher if you operate with this infinite mindset. So commit today to play with an infinite mindset from this day forward. Have that infinite mindset. Athletes do not struggle because they make mistakes. They struggle because they stay stuck in them. Which one of these five applies most to you? Put the number in the chat real quick. Is it overthinking after a mistake? Is it an emotional spiral? Is it playing passive and holding back? Is it a loss of confidence? Or is it dwelling for days after a bad game? Which one do you relate with the most? 1 through 5. This is going to be really important for the next exercise that we go through, so make sure you type it in real quick. We got a 4, loss of confidence, overthinking, loss of confidence, emotional spirals, dwelling for days. Yeah, all over the place. We all respond differently. We all respond differently. That's very important. Here's the reset system promise. I'm going to teach you guys here in just a couple seconds the more practical tools. We've done a couple of big picture ones. I'm going to teach you the practical ones here in a second. And make sure over the next 20 minutes or so, as we're finishing up this webinar, you can't say to yourself, yeah, I already knew that, or I've already heard that. Some of you guys have already learned the bounce back routine. You've learned some sort of a reset ritual or a mistake routine. Like you've learned something, and maybe you're saying to yourself, like, yeah, it didn't work. Don't do that. Don't do that. I promise you, this will work if you apply what we learn tonight. So, step 1, if you want to bounce back from mistakes fast, you have to see it. You've got to catch the spiral before it even starts. So that's why I asked you which one of those 5 are you most likely to succumb to. Here's some common signs that you know you're mentally spiraling after a mistake. You start holding your breath or breathing gets shallow. Your thoughts are racing. You hang your head or avoid eye contact. Right? I've seen that one a lot more recently. Avoiding eye contact after a mistake. You don't want to look at your coach. You start playing it safe instead of being aggressive like you used to. You start pulling back effort or energy. You think more about what people think than what you need to do next. Maybe you obsess over the last play, you replay it in your mind, or maybe you overcorrect and you try to make up for the mistake instead of moving forward. I'm curious, which one of those are signs that you recognize in yourself? Type it in. 1 through 8. Playing passive, holding back. Trying to make up for the mistake instead of moving forward. Yep, for sure. Thoughts racing. Cool. Great job, guys. Thanks for participating. You're going to get so much out of this by doing that. Okay. So, why is this important? Because you cannot correct what you cannot see clearly. I want you guys to take a moment and write down what your spiral looks like. So, here's an example. My spiral starts when I miss a shot or have a bad serve. I hear my coach yell, or maybe your mom or dad. I immediately tense up. I start to overthink. This makes me feel angry or sad. I start to look down. My posture slumps. So, when does it start? What triggers it? How do you respond with your body or with your self-talk? You don't have to type that in the chat. I just want you guys to actually write this on paper. And I trust me, guys, I wish we didn't have to do this. Like, I wish you didn't have to write this down. But there's so much value in being able to correct something before it happens. And the only way you can do that is if you can see it before it happens and you can anticipate it. Wayne Gretzky, greatest hockey player of all time. He was asked how he was such a great player, like what made him great. He said, most players skate to where the puck is. I skate to where the puck is going. Anticipation is one of the greatest advantages in sports, but it also applies to mental and emotional anticipation too. So finish that up. And if you didn't finish it now, you're going to have time to do it after this webinar is over. So make sure you take a little screenshot of this slide if you haven't finished and catch up on that at the end. So we talked about this a little bit in the beginning. What do you believe about mistakes, really? Do they mean you're getting worse or do they mean you're growing? Are they bad or are they fuel? And then what do the pros believe about mistakes? Here's Roger Federer. He is arguably one of the greatest tennis players of all time. Roger Federer only won, and guys, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. The amount of championships this guy won is it's insane. He only won 54% of the points he ever played. That means he lost 46% of the points that he ever played. He won 20 Grand Slam titles, 104 ATP level wins, yet he lost almost 50% of the time. This is what he said. He said perfection is impossible. Roger Federer, oh, I'll get him on the next slide. Roger Federer, I'm going to talk about his routine here in a second after we talk about this girl, Sarah. But man, there's so much to learn from this because I've seen a lot of athletes, man. They might miss a couple shots in a row and they think that it's like the world is falling apart. And this guy just knew. I mean, guys, almost every other time he had a point to play, he lost it. Almost every other time. But he won just enough. That's it. You don't have to be perfect. That's the lesson here. You don't have to be perfect. You just got to keep getting better. This is a girl named Sarah that I started doing mindset coaching with probably a year ago now. She is committed to play at a big D1 school, softball. She's a pitcher. And this was her spiral when she first started with me. This is what she would say. We were able to unpack this. This always happens, right? Every time the game would get tight and would get like clutch timing, she would say to herself subconsciously, she wasn't always realizing she was saying this always happens. If I don't pitch perfect, coach might pull my scholarship. She was, again, committed to a big D1 school. And she, in her mind, she was believing that she needed to be near perfect or else coach might pull her scholarship. Now, where did that come from? To this day, she's not really sure. Coach definitely never told her that, but that's what she was telling herself in her mind. Why can't I get it right? Guys, after we applied what I'm about to teach you in step 2, this is what happened. The very next game, 5 strikeouts, no hits. She stayed loose. This was her text message to me the next day. I started the 8 a.m. game this morning. 2 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, no hits. We were in rotation, so that's why I only pitched 2 innings. But I felt much better than yesterday, and I stayed loose in a tough situation. All because I taught her what we're about to, what you've been learning this entire session, but then also the bounce back routine. So make sure you got your pen and paper. Really, really important, the bounce back routine. After mistakes, many athletes will blame their coach or their teammates. They'll argue with the refs, or like we said, they'll start playing overly aggressive instead of leading themselves. We need to avoid those 3 C's, right? The 3 C's: criticize, complain, compare, criticize, complain, compare. We got to avoid the 3 C's and instead move to the bounce back routine. So here it is. I want you guys right here, right now. And if you've been doing this for a while and you just kind of lost your intensity with it, we need to like recommit today to doing the bounce back routine because it is the tool that you use once you believe they're fine. Mistakes are not bad. They're fuel. Once you believe mistakes are fuel, now you need a tool. That rhymed. I didn't realize that was going to rhyme. So cool. All right. We need a reset word. You're going to pick one, right? Every time you make a mistake, you need a reset word that you say to yourself, the same word every time. It might be next, next play, move on, next one, overcome, dominate, powerful, strong, confident, release. There's all these words, right? I want you to take one, write it down right now. Pick your word. And if there's not one on that list that you like, pick your own, right? There's got to be meaning to it though, right? Like the word release is like release what just happened. There's power in that word, release, release. Your hand signal is what you're going to do as you're saying the word. So imagine if you're saying release and you just made a mistake and you're opening and closing your hands, like you're literally physically releasing the mistake. Guys, what this does is it takes the words, like you might have been taught by your coach. Anyone ever like been taught like say the word flush it or just move on, like just these words, right? And they're not bad, but if you don't take the word and connect it to your body, then it's not going to work most of the time. It might work every once in a while, but wouldn't you rather feel it? Like not just think confident thoughts, but feel confident, like you can move on. That's what the hand signal does for you. So you're going to pick your hand signal next, clap once, open and close your hands, do a hand to the fist, just like this. You might shake it out. You might pat your leg once, wiggle your fingers. You might snap 3 times, like snap out of it. And your reset word could be snap out of it. I mean, you want to pair the word with the hand signal so it makes sense. So take a little time on this. I want you to see if you can do it now, but take a little time even after. Pick your bounce back routine, and then you link it together with a nice deep breath. So in action, all right, if my word is release and my physical hand signal is release, then this is how it's going to look. All right. I just struck out looking, or I airballed a free throw, or I made a bad pass, right? And immediately I turn to my bounce back routine. Ready? Release, release, release. Release, release, release. All right. Just 1, 2, maybe 3 times, right? You don't have to tell everyone about it. All right. You just do it personally to yourself, and it's your cue. Time to move on. Okay. So that's the bounce back routine. I teach, I've got a video training on just the bounce back routine that I can get you guys access to. I think it's on YouTube. It's also a bonus in the Don't Let One Mistake Ruin the Game book. Whatever way, we'll get it to you. Okay. Again, I talked to you guys about Roger Federer. He would say to himself, the most important point is always the next one. Well, that makes sense, right? That checks out because he lost 46% of the points. So it makes sense that this is what he would say to himself in the moment. All right. His reset strategy, treat every point just as 1 point, as just 1 point. The purpose of this keeps perspective, avoids carrying mistakes forward. Steph Curry, you guys have seen him. He chews on his mouth guard, smiles, and he stays playful. Right? He has fun. Right? He misses free throws like once out of every like 500 shots. And when he misses the one, he stays playful. He laughs. Right? And this loosens him up and reduces pressure. So in the book I have up here, I've got like 20 different pro athlete routines. But man, just like pick one. And honestly, you can Google this. You can find these yourself. Pick one, maybe model your favorite pro athlete, or just start with what you put on paper right here. We got to shift it. Step 2.
I just asked Bud.
Quick video.
The exact same question, but I'm curious for you. Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get a promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, I don't know, provide a house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, you know. And if you've never, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it, you know. Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure? That's what you're telling me? No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no?
I mean, I don't think so. No.
Okay, exactly. So why are you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. You know, there's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful, some days you're not. Some days it's your turn, some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year, somebody else is gonna win. Simple as that. We're gonna come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits, try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch with playing bad basketball, you know, and hopefully we can win a championship. So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures? No, it was not. It was steps to it, you know, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one.
Steps to success. If you remember what we talked about in the beginning, right? What is your brain linking up? Giannis has linked up mistakes and losses in his mind to this thing that he calls steps to success. Like, guys, this is mind-blowing stuff for a young athlete. Mistakes and losses and failures equal steps to success. It's almost like you can imagine a staircase, and with each loss, not that we want to lose, like that's not the goal of sports necessarily, but with each loss, we actually are climbing upstairs towards success, when in reality, a lot of us feel like we're falling down the stairs. Giannis flipped the script. He flipped the script. Mistakes and losses are steps to success. Such a powerful concept. Again, you can find this video on YouTube with him talking about this. Such a powerful lesson that he taught there. All right, final step in bouncing back from mistakes in 3 seconds or less. I want you just to simply create and revisit your impossible goals. What is an impossible goal? It is something that is going to motivate you and help you to see past your mistakes. When you don't have a huge, specific, motivating goal, then of course, little mistakes and errors and setbacks, they feel huge and they get to you. But when you do have a huge, specific, motivating goal, your future is 10 times bigger than any mistake, error, or setback could ever be. I'm going to share a quick story from the book here. This is a girl named Cassie, and this is why small goals backfire. So I met with a college softball player named Cassie who had a rough end to her freshman season. She looked at me and said, "I just want to get playing time. I just want to be a starter." That sounds pretty reasonable, right? But here's what happened. That small goal led her to compete against her teammates instead of completing them. That small goal pushed her into impress mode. Translation, I'm pressing, and it made her tense and anxious at every practice. And worst of all, every other non-starter on the team had that exact same goal. And it created disunity in the team, not to mention constant stress for her. So I dropped this bomb on her. I said, your goal's too small. Big goals are easier to achieve than small goals. And so here's how we reset. Instead of just start, her new goal became, I want to get 100 hits next season. The only player that had done it the year before, there was only one player who had done it the year before, which meant this goal was going to require her to learn, grow, and surround herself with greatness. By default, getting 100 hits, it would guarantee that she did become a starter, right? But notice, this shifted her focus from impressing her coaches to improving her skill. Number 3, she lit up. It was exciting. It was motivating. It separated her from the pack. But the last goal of just being a starter, it's like it was just enough, right? It wasn't exciting anymore for her. And so she stopped playing in the same sandbox as everyone else. When you set the right impossible goal, it actually makes less goals irrelevant to set. And here's how it ties back into mistakes. When you have something that is pulling you forward into the future that you're excited about, like 100 hits in a season, then one single bat at bat, you still know that you could be on track for that big goal, right? Like I can mess up. I could have a bad game today. It doesn't mean I'm not still on track for my big goal. So that's how it changes things and it changes your perspective. And that's why having really big goals is so important. So what's your impossible goal? What's your impossible goal? You got to pick a target, pick an impossible time frame, right? So instead of 3 years to get 100 hits, Cassie said that she was going to do it this year. And then give yourself grace. Cassie learned this pretty quickly. She started to get herself really stressed out about this goal. But the point of this goal, it's called an impossible goal, guys. The point isn't to actually hit the goal, it's to make way more progress than you would have if you had a smaller goal. And that's what's going to happen, right? Let's stop caring so much about the trophy and start caring about progress, becoming a better and better version of ourselves, right? Evolving and changing and growing every single day. When you have a really big goal, that's what's going to happen. You're going to stop worrying about the tiny little things that, yeah, they matter, but you shouldn't. What is it? Don't sweat the small stuff, right? We want to sweat the small stuff, but we also don't want to sweat the small stuff. I know it doesn't make sense, but it will. Trust me, it'll make sense over time. So here's the 3 steps to bounce back quickly: see it, shift it, and set it. And now here are the 4 keys to the 24-hour post-game mental reset. All right, I told you guys at the beginning of this, we were going to cover how to bounce back and regain confidence in the middle of games after mistakes. And I wanted to teach you a very simple tool from this journal that I created, a very simple tool to help you bounce back from bad games, quote unquote, bad games, in less than 24 hours. Number one, you got to give yourself permission to feel it. And coaches, parents, we've got to encourage the athlete to feel it, right? Instead of just saying like, just forget about it. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Move on. Like that never feels good to anybody, right? Like if I have feelings about my poor performance, right? If I've got emotional feelings about it, which I'm going to, right? I need to feel it for a second, right? Like what I'm dealing with right now is anger or insecurity, or I feel like I'm not good enough. Like that's what I'm feeling right now. And you can own it for a hot second, right? Then step 2, set a 24-hour timer. Literally, like on your phone, set the timer 24 hours from the end of that bad game. I'm going to tell you why in a second. Number 3, journal or dump out your thoughts. You've got to get them out of your head, right? If they live in your head, they will become bigger and bigger because what we focus on actually grows. And so we got to get it out of our heads. It's great to talk out loud with people, but not everybody processes things that well when they talk out loud. And so journaling them or, yeah, just some form of getting it out of your head. And then number 4, that timer is going to go off. You're probably going to forget about it, but that timer is going to go off. The alarm is going to go off. And we as people respond really well to external stimuli, right? When there's something like an alarm or a sign or a sound, we actually respond really, really well to that. Now, this is going to trigger you to make a decision, right? You actually have to decide at the end of those 24 hours, or here's the cool thing. I've had some athletes, they set a timer for like 6 hours because they're like, I'm not waiting 24 hours. I need it to be 6 hours. Or maybe you've got a double header and you're like, this has to be 30 minutes. I got to bounce back in 30 minutes. Cool. Set a timer for 30 minutes. And then you make a decision and you say out loud, I am moving forward today. If you get this journal that I created, there's a tear it up page. And literally, it feels so wrong to rip a page out of a book, but it also feels so good at the same time. You tear the page out, you crumble it up, and you throw it away. And that physical act actually does help you link up getting over it in your mind. All right. So, guys, we covered a lot. I've got one more really important thing to share with you. Recap. Pre-work, make sure we see things through the right filter. right? Going back to what we said in the beginning, make sure you're seeing things through the right filter and you're not creating or not allowing those false neuro associations to stay with you any longer. Step one, catch the spiral before it starts, right? Finish that work after this webinar is over. Write down on paper, what does my spiral look like when I start to get in my head? Step two, shift it. So bounce back routine with relentless consistency, guys. Don't just try it once and then say it didn't work. Got to try something new. No, no, no. Do this with relentless consistency. Practice really will make perfect in this situation. And then set a huge goal that changes your perspective. That's the how to bounce back from bad mistakes or from mistakes. And then the 24-hour bounce back pre-work again. See things through the right filter, right? It applies to having bad games too, right? No more of this bad games are bad, embarrassing, or proof that I'm not great, right? That is not an accurate filter. We know it now. We know that it's not true. We know that mistakes are fuel for greatness. And so that is the way we need to see it. Mistakes are a gift. Learn, grow, move on better than before. Speaking of a gift, I got to work with an athlete the other day who she she realized something. Guys, I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick and talk to you. Just get real for a second. I was talking with a girl, really high level volleyball player, and she was telling me all about her goals and how she just felt this pressure, this overwhelming pressure to live up to these expectations that she felt like her parents had and that she had for herself. And I asked her, like, what do you want your legacy to be about, right? When you're no longer playing volleyball, right? It was such a big part of her life. When you're no longer playing volleyball, like, what do you want your legacy, what you leave behind to be about? And she was like, you know what? I want to make sure I win states. I want to make sure I am first team All-American. And I want to make sure I break the record for, I think, aces or something like that. And I'm like, man, like that's pretty good. I like that. It's good to have good goals. But the reason why you're feeling tense and the reason why you continue to get in your own head about every mistake and why you're beating yourself up for not being perfect, it's not because you don't have big enough goals. It's because your goals are all focused on, they're all about you. And I said to her, I said, Callie, I said, you are one of the most selfless people that I know. You care about your teammates. You coach younger girls, right? And you're bringing up these girls to become better and better at volleyball. I said, as soon as you shift from all of your goals being about you to instead, how can I help other people? How can I lift up and encourage younger teammates? Guys, I don't care if you're 12 years old on this. There's a 10-year-old out there that needs you, that looks up to you, that needs your encouragement. Take that kid under your wing. Guys, when you start doing this and it stops becoming all about you, I'm telling you, and people who have been here before, athletes who have learned this and realized this, guys, the pressure just falls off you. It just starts to fall off you. And the joy of the sport goes to an all-time high because life and sports are about what you can get. They're not just not about what you can give, not just about what you can get. And so, my encouragement to you, if you heard nothing else today, my encouragement to you today is to make a decision that it's not about you. You're going to show up for your teammates. You're going to lift others up, encourage others, and you're going to bring others with you on this journey and definitely reach back down and teach the younger kids who are coming up after you how they can be great at the sport. And again, not just how they can be great for themselves, but your example to them is going to create a ripple effect and then they're going to do it for the next generation coming up underneath them. Okay. I want to share a resource with you guys. So these are two girls that I personally, this isn't my business. I am not personally taking on any mindset students anymore at this time. I'm full. But they've got their own businesses, guys. And these are two girls that I have personally worked with and certified as mindset coaches. And so if your daughter or if your son is, or if you're an athlete that wants to get that extra one-on-one mindset coaching help, you can scan those QR codes and reach out to either one of them. They're both phenomenal. They've got their own strengths and skill sets, but you can learn a little bit more about what they do there. Again, they're not affiliated with my business. It's completely separate. I just wanted to give them that shout out and more importantly, give you guys that opportunity if you do want to get help with mindset coaching. They are phenomenal. They're just great human beings and great mentors, and they understand mindset and how to shift it in athletes. By the way, they also both performed at a pretty high level. They both played Division I softball. And then for parents, coaches, I'm not, again, here to sell anything to you tonight. I just want to inform you that there is this resource at gymrcoaching.com where you can become a mindset coach. If you want to learn how to tap into the minds of your players, how to understand the way they think so that you can better coach them, there's an option for you as well. But guys, we went a little bit past what I was planning on, but I'm so glad you guys were able to hop on again. My email is andrew@pfpfit.com. My Instagram is Coach Andrew Simpson. Please reach out if you have any feedback from tonight, if you need any guidance or direction in terms of what to do next. But man, I'm going to send you guys this recording. Watch it again. Thanks again for jumping on tonight. And it's time to bounce back. See you guys next time. Peace.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, guys.